As Daytona Day continues, I guess as the young tradition goes, we run the Daytona 500 on the day of the Daytona 500. Last year, we ran NASCAR Heat 5. That's why I didn't want to do it, or no, we would have ran NASCAR Heat 4. But that's why I didn't want to run NASCAR Heat today. That's why we did NASCAR 05 Speed Weeks. We ran the Budweiser Shootout on Tuesday before the Busch Clash. Wednesday, we ran some Modified Series action, so not at Daytona. Thursday, I had a little upload before the start of the Daytona 500. We ended up running NASCAR Heat 5 career mode for a live stream that night, but we also did a Daytona race with the Dodge Vipers on the Daytona International Speedway to start our sports car challenge. Friday night, we did the truck race. Before the truck race, we ran our Busch Series race last night after the Xfinity and ARCA race, and today, before the Daytona 500, we ran our Gatorade Duel, in which Jimmy Johnson got the win, and we are running as Jimmy Johnson for this race in the season. And of course, for the Daytona 500, we will begin here in a couple of minutes. I'm Keegan Schneider. Welcome to KRC, and subscribe if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button down below if you, well, you're going to enjoy this race. The Gatorade Duel race was awesome. You are going to enjoy this race, and it definitely helps out with the YouTube algorithm and getting these videos and streams recommended under other related NASCAR content on YouTube. So thanks everybody for watching. Justin Sozio, Tim Irvin, John Poma, I believe somebody else was in the chat earlier too. Shane Pinkney, welcome to the stream as well. Billy Kramer, welcome. So here we go. The Daytona 500. This is going to be a fun one. Already 6 people watching, haven't even started the race yet. I'm expecting some good viewership for today's race because this will be a lot of fun as we'll take you to the start of the actual Daytona 500. We'll take you through the starting order at the top of the screen, at least the notable starters at the front of the field. Dale Earnhardt Jr. qualified on the pole, finished second in the Busch Series race yesterday, and nearly won the Gatorade Duel race, finished third, and that race led some laps along the way in both of those races, and of course ran really well throughout the course of Speed Week so far, as just mentioned. Starting second and qualifying second for the outside pole of the Daytona 500 is Kevin Harvick. Harvick is a 2007 winner of the 500. Remember, he actually won the Daytona 500 in Season 1 of NASCAR Thunder 2004, so maybe Season 1 of NASCAR 05, he can do the same. Watch for Harvick today. Jimmy Johnson has mentioned one dual race number 1. Jeff Green actually ended up winning dual race number 2, and the guy who won the Budweiser Shootout on Tuesday night was Rusty Wallace. So look out for him today as well. Try to see where Rusty is starting for today's race. I haven't seen him yet. 39th, so Rusty was one of the drivers that blew an engine in that race, unfortunately. So Rusty Wallace will be starting towards the rear of the field, but watch out for him. He definitely looks fast at Daytona. Other notable driver, our winner in Season 2 of the Daytona 5, or Season 2 of NASCAR Thunder 04, Ricky Craven won the 500 there as well. So enough rambling on. We are going to start the 2004 Daytona 500. Right here on NASCAR 05, chase for the cup. Dale Jr. leads the field to the green, and we are underway. Racing is here, as we have been waiting all week for the Daytona 500. Who will lead lap 1 to get that quick jump start on the season? Those 5 bonus points. Johnson with a 3-wide move into turn 1 to take the initial lead away from Harvick and Dale Jr. That couldn't have been a better start for Jimmy Johnson. He was awesome on the restarts earlier today, so look out for him on the restarts here in this one as well. And already blocking, trying to lead the opening lap of the season, the opening lap of the Daytona 500. 3 by 3 through the field going into turn 3 from about 4th on back. Johnson really loose in turns 3 and 4 as they get up to speed. Continues to try and block off of turn 4. Harvick trying to get a run to the outside. He is there, and Kevin Harvick will lead lap 1 in the 500. Maybe not. At the line, Johnson leads lap 1 in the Daytona 500 by inches over Kevin Harvick. It looked like Harvick had him off turn 4, and Johnson pulled him right back and clears him again going into turn 1. As he stayed on the bottom with Chevrolet driver Dale Earnhardt Jr., the top 5 already spacing apart. There might have been contact off turn 4 with a lot of drivers. Points are still obviously on the line and a big factor as far as the season goes to qualify for the chase at the end of the year. 10 drivers will qualify for the chase for the Cup and have a shot in those final 10 races at the championship. Wins do not grant you a spot, only the top 10 in points do. So racing for bonus points even early on in the first race of the year here today can be big in determining who those 10 drivers will be at the end of the season, as well as, of course, finishing position. Johnson has led the first 2 laps after leading a lot at the end of the dual race and, as mentioned, winning the Daytona duel number 1. Junior obviously looked fast. Harvick to the inside. Johnson trying to keep it off Kevin Harvick, and does. And Harvick almost clear, but not quite. Johnson's hanging in there. And now Jimmy's going to drop in line behind him. And Kevin Harvick will lead his first lap of the Daytona 500 on lap 3. So the pole sitter has not led yet. It took about 10 laps for Junior to lead in the dual race after starting on the pole there, but looked really fast, and he hasn't been outside the top 4 early on in today's race. Jeff Green looks fast. He won dual race number 2. He's still battling up early on for 3rd. That 43 car's got speed, that Dodge for Richard Petty. Definitely look out for him today. As mentioned in the pre-race, Johnson has a run on Kevin Harvick, and Harvick crowds Johnson trying to hold on to the lead. Didn't make contact with him, but Jimmy kept running high, and he ran right into the wall trying to get around Harvick. Off of turn 4, Johnson sneaks underneath Harvick and leads the lap at the line. Another lead change. No double yellow line rule for us in this game for the season on the super speedways. It's shown right there. Saw some passing down there pretty much all week. Didn't see much of it in the truck race, but you saw it in the Busch race, the Bud Shootout, the duel, and already early in the Daytona 500. So Johnson leading Harvick. Saw last lap pass for the win in dual race number 1. Casey Kane led the 4th to last lap, the 3rd to last lap, and the 2nd to last lap, coming to the white flag, but he was not able to win the dual race. Jimmy Johnson passed him off turn 2. Was able to block, and Kane overdrove it into the wall off of turn 4, ending his shot to win the race. We saw 3 cautions in dual race number 1 as well, and they all came in the first half of that 50-lap race. Seen some excitement early on, but this is a long race. Have to make it to the end. That's been a problem for us with this game already, both in the truck race and the Busch race. And this is much longer, of course, 200 miles longer than the Busch race even last night. Predictions video is out on the channel, by the way. So also try to watch that as well and set your fantasy lineups. Join the Fantasy Live League, our Fantasy Live League, by going to the NASCAR mobile app or website, search or click on the fantasy portion of the app or website, sign up using your email, and search KRC League to join. Shot at weekly prizes as far as being featured on the predictions video for the following week if you win that said week throughout the course of the season. And at the end of the year, if you win the league, I will buy you 2 tickets for any race of your choosing in 2022 for NASCAR. So you can bring a friend or a family member, and I will try to make that said race as well. Can't pick the Daytona 500, though. That's the only thing with that for 2022. But any other race of your choosing. You can pick Daytona in the August race, pick your home track, pick a track you've never gone to before. I don't care. You can pick a track, any race outside of the 500, but it will be a lot of fun. So definitely make sure you hop on that here before the Daytona 500 starts today so you can have your chance to win our first weekly prize. A couple of DEI cars at the front of the field already of Michael Waltrip and Dale Jr. Waltrip, 2 Daytona 500s in the last 3 years leading up to this said race. Because again, this takes over the 2004 season. Back end to get your soda. Thanks for coming back there, Justin. Michael Waltrip already to second place early. Dale Jr. not going to help Waltrip on the outside right now. He's actually got to go to the bottom behind Jimmy Johnson. Johnson showed a lot of straightaway speed down the back and even through the tri-oval, and you saw it there. Waltrip got to his outside. Johnson was not phased and clears him into turn 3. Jimmy wants to lead the most laps today. He wants to dominate, and he wants to win his first career Daytona 500 at this point in time. Already at lap 10, caution free in the early going of the race. I'm sure that won't stay that way all the way through. NASCAR Thunder 2004, it was really weird. Our first season on Thunder 04, we went caution free in the Daytona 500. But in our second season, we did not go caution free. We actually had 3 cautions that were big ones. And I believe we had 5 cautions total because we had a couple for debris. But we had 3 big ones in that race. I'm sure you're going to see the big one at some point today. It's the inevitable. Maybe multiple ones here at Daytona. Dale Jr. going for the lead off turn 4. A couple times he's gotten side by side, but has not led a lap early on. Harvick pushing Johnson on the bottom. Chevrolets rounding out the top 4 and 5 of the front 6 with Gordon in the 6th spot. Jeff Green, the only oddball, as a Dodge right there. The Fords ran well in qualifying, ran well at the beginning of the dual race, didn't get good finishes, so they're starting a little bit mid-pack or back in today's race. That's why you don't see any in the front portion of the field. Kenseth is in the top 10 back there, just saw him. Another Dodge up towards the front of Ryan Newman as well. Johnson tight off 4, contact with Harvick. Johnson got tight in the wall. Harvick ran into the back of him. There isn't heavy damage, luckily, but damage nevertheless. We saw drivers all day long in the dual race get tight off turn 4, and the race leader did that time. Usually it's the driver in traffic that gets tight, but that time it was the leader. But we somehow stay green, and only 3 cars remain. Johnson somehow holds on to the lead. Then he's got Dale Jr. and Ryan Newman right behind him, and a big gap back to 4th place, with the rest of the field right behind the 4th place car. And now Jr. hits the wall off turn 4. Look at the run by Newman to the bottom to take the lead at the line. 5 bonus points for Newman leading his first lap of the race. He led a lot of laps early on in the duel. Johnson ended up leading the most by the end and winning, but Newman looked fast. Into turn 1. Newman trying to block Johnson. Contact. Jimmy takes the lead again. This guy's racing a little too aggressively, a little too early in this race. Racing Refresh, welcome to the stream. If you can't win, Waltrip better. He might. Again, 2-time 500 winner up to this point. Junior Newman racing hard for second. Newman tried to block into turn 1 on Johnson. Johnson was already there, and that led to that contact on that end of the racetrack. Yeah, Harvick almost went around. That was really close. He didn't completely go around, otherwise the caution would have waved. That really stacked up the field, but they are going to be charging fast. There's only 3 cars in this lead pack, and they are racing hard with each other, not staying single file. That could be costly as well. Early on, 15 laps in. Already saw 2 cautions at this point in the dual race, but none so far today, somehow. despite the very aggressive racing early like we saw all the way through the 50-lap dual race. Junior down low to help with a Chevrolet of Johnson, so the two Chevys linking up. Newman had the run on the outside. If Junior would have went with Newman, I'm sure Newman would have gotten to the lead. These might be the three best cars running 1, 2, 3 right now as well. Very well possible. And again, Newman to the top. Got the nose out in front, but he won't lead that lap. I believe Johnson led it. Newman has already led a lap, and now Junior goes high behind Ryan Newman into turn 1. Johnson drove it in deep, trying to clear Newman to the outside, and he does. And a crossover by Junior to go down low for second. Jimmy gets loose off turn 2. Newman to the outside, and he'll take the lead. Just a slight mistake there by Johnson, just wiggle enough. Newman gets the run on the top, and Ryan Newman to the lead for the second time already today in the Daytona 500. I mentioned he was a future winner of the race in 2008. Still young in his career at this point in time today. Johnson does hold on to second, despite Junior had that run initially. And right behind Ryan Newman. Jimmy trying the outside. Newman right there to try and block. That might open up the bottom for Jimmy Johnson. Nope, not quite. Newman blocks down there as well. Jimmy is right there. Now to the inside of Newman. Into turn 3. Newman crowds him trying to side draft, but Johnson out in front. Remember, no double yellow line rule in this game. That is perfectly legal. Very risky, but perfectly legal. And Johnson with the lead change back out in front again. Junior hangs on to third. Pretty good race with these top 3, despite not a lot of drafting help. And a lot of that is because of how bumpier this Daytona is compared to now. Of course, repaved before the 2011 season. A lot more grip and a lot more downforce as well with the cars now versus what you're seeing with these Gen 4 cars in this race. So less downforce, a lot bumpier, less grip of a racetrack. Draft still means a lot, though, as you're full throttle all the way around with these restrictor plates. Well, halfway on fuel. Fuel window is going to be 35 to 40 laps today, much like it was on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Junior to the outside for the lead down the back straightaway. Newman goes with Johnson. Jimmy holds on to the lead. This is going to come down to the wire if it's anything like the dual race. Oh, Newman thought about going up the middle 3 wide. Jimmy leads another lap at the line. Junior with another run on the top, though. Jimmy with a little side draft trying to pull him back. Can't side draft as much as you can with today's cars. Rear spoilers are a little taller, though, so it is relevant. It's a lot harder to do with less grip on this track as well. And Junior again with another charge. But Newman stays on the bottom. Black Ace, welcome to the stream. Good hour first. Good entertainment for a 16-hour. Hey, I commend you for putting in those hours at work. I believe you're a doctor, aren't you? Or work somewhere where a doctor would work. I think. I could be wrong on that. Sorry if I am. But thanks for tuning in, and thanks for your work if that is the case. Yes, the race is at 2:30 on Fox today. Coverage starts earlier than that. Oh boy, hang on. This guy's almost went 3 wide for the lead. Junior tried to get to the bottom. Great run off the corner exit by Ryan Newman. Newman seems to be really good in the corners. Jimmy might get him back, though, into turn 3 again. And he does. It's amazing the runs these guys are getting. Oh, contact between the 8 and the 12 off turn 4. Johnson and Newman got together. Or sorry, Newman and Junior got together. Johnson was ahead of him when the contact happened. But yeah, the race will start probably about a quarter till 3 by the time they get through the national anthem and all the pre-race festivities. So that contact with Newman and Junior allows Johnson to get away for the moment. So they're going to get a big run on Jimmy now down the back straightaway here after Jimmy pulled ahead. Anticipates Newman going low and blocks him into turn 3. And here comes the rest of the pack finally back up towards the front in a single file train of a line to run these top 3 down. And we're about to have major pack racing once again. Lap 23 at the line. Newman bounces off the wall off turn 4 again. Got tight. The front of Johnson just pulled up in front of him to hold onto a block. It's what you have to do. And you're going to see it by the AI. You're going to see it by me today. It was a clean block, but the air on the front of Newman's car just allowed him to push tight off of 4. We've seen that all speed weeks long, and I'm sure that's going to continue all day today. It's going to be a huge emphasis. Saw it happen on the last lap when Kane tried to get around Johnson for the win in dual race number 1. Junior looks high. Blocked by Johnson into 3. Clear, but Junior is the second. Elliott Sadler in 4th, followed by Matt Kenseth leading the field to the back bumper of Newman. They go to the outside. Newman saw the run, so he goes high to take the run. Newman got a little loose off turn 4, though. And so did Junior. I think Junior actually got tight. Jimmy leads the lap. Newman still got a run on the top. Johnson's trying to hang on to his car, but Ryan Newman back out in front into turn 1 again. Action early on. Junior to the inside of Jimmy Johnson. Johnson trying to hold the top. Hasn't really ran the top today, but he holds onto it enough. Gonna block Sadler to keep him from passing him. Junior's got a big run on the back of the 12. Johnson's got a big run to the back of Junior, though, and he's gonna get back to second place. Sadler to 3rd. I think there's going to be a rain delay. Is it raining right now at Daytona? Does anybody know? I haven't checked the forecast for today, but I've heard all week that it might rain. But there's been it's been forecasted to rain on Friday and Saturday, and yet they got the ARCA and Xfinity race in with no delays yesterday. And they got the truck race in with no delays. So you could hope for that same luck for Daytona for the 500 today as well. So I'm optimistic. I really do think that they'll get the full race in today. With that being said, because it's been forecasted to rain. But it's Florida. It rains every day anyway. You know, it's always hit or miss. Johnson went really low. Hang on to it, Jimmy. Newman trying to force him down there. He didn't make contact with him, but wow, Jimmy's loose. And in the wall in turns 1 and 2. Jimmy was just fighting that car all the way through the tri-oval. In the wall he goes. And he's going to fall back as far as he's been so far in this race today. Wall trip to the inside. Johnson's loose again in 3 and 4. Going to try to track with the outside pole sitter of Kevin Harvick. Stewart's in the top 10 now. Johnson back to 8th. A race low. Jimmy's got a fast car, though. He'll get back up here as long as he can reel it in. So he got loose in 1 and 2 in the wall, and then got loose again in 3 and 4 in the wall. Harvick trying to block Johnson. Johnson scraped the wall and still got around him. Tells you the big run Jimmy had that time to get around Harvick for 7th. had the run. He was going to take it no matter what. Surprised that run didn't... I mean, it stalled out a little bit, but he was still able to get around Harvick at least. Yeah, not far off the lead. About 1.1 going into turn 1 this time. Johnson trying to make a pass on Dale Jarrett. Tires are getting a little older. About a quarter of a tank of gas left for most of the field now as well. Probably going to see 4 tire stops all day today. It's not like Thunder 04 where the 2 tire strategy is going to work. At least with this game, it doesn't seem like it. Dale Jarrett scrapes the wall off 4 after losing a spot to Jimmy Johnson. So they hang on. Johnson trying to side draft Kenseth and get around him. A little nudge. Johnson drafted off Waltrip, so that's going to help. Car's definitely loose at this point in the run. And a little loose into turns 3 and 4 again as he stays behind Waltrip. Trying not to turn the car too much. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Already 11 likes, so thanks everybody for that. Dale Jr. currently the race leader. Newman second, followed by Elliott Sadler, Michael Waltrip, and Jimmy Johnson, the top 5. Oh, blown engine! Problems at the front of the field. Ryan Newman in second place, one of the favorites. And what a move by Johnson, taking advantage of it to get around Waltrip and Sadler. And Sadler bounces off the wall off turn 4. Ryan Newman, running second, has just blown an engine on lap 30 of the Daytona 500. He blew an engine in season 2 of the 2004 Thunder 04's race. Johnson going to let Waltrip go, try to draft behind him, but he does cut down in front of Elliott Sadler, and now DEI running 1-2. Johnson's going to have to be careful because if Waltrip closes in on Dale Jr., they might just try to team up and draft away from each other. Remember, they won 3 Daytona 500s in a 4-year stretch from 2001 to 2004. This is the 04 season. Johnson gave Waltrip a huge shot there. 1, 2, 3, by the way, with Chevrolets at the front. And then the first forward is Elliott Sadler. And Newman Dodge was again in second, but he just blew an engine 2 laps ago. One of the favorites for today's race. Next stream is going to be tomorrow night. We stream every day. NASCAR Thunder 2004 tomorrow as we'll get closer to wrapping up that season. And we will be at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. With just 4 races to go in the season there. So back to Thunder 04 tomorrow. Waltrip tried to block Johnson into turn 3. They made contact. Jimmy was already there. Waltrip tried to block anyway. And now pit stops this time by Sadler. And a large majority of the field coming onto pit road. Waltrip was trying to protect and hang on to second behind his teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. Johnson, barely in the draft of Jr., trying not to lose him. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the start of that Atlanta race on NASCAR Thunder 2004. And 4 races left. We're running as Terry Labonte for that season. You guys as fan-voted driver, just like you voted for Jimmy Johnson for this season. Look at how quickly down the back straightaway Johnson pulled to the back bumper of the 8 of Dale Jr. Jimmy's really loose. Left rear, right front, all in the yellow. as Junior leads at Daytona. Johnson, though, has a run to the inside. He is there. Lap cars coming off of pit road. These guys going to have to be careful. And Jimmy Johnson to the lead into turn 1, passing Dale Earnhardt Jr. Watch these guys coming out of the pits. Make sure we don't get a caution. Wish that lie existed in 2004. Yeah, no LI schemes. We got lows on the car for this season. All 36 or 34 races, I guess this year. 34 because there are no Pocono races, unfortunately. So lost a little bit of a licensing agreement there. Johnson gets loose off turn 4. Caution's out for the first time today. He saves it, and reminiscent of what we saw in dual race number 1 when Junior got out of control off 4, clipped Johnson. This time, it was Johnson getting loose, clipping Junior, both battling for the lead in dual 1. And here in the 500, and we, again, get our first caution of the race. But a big save by Johnson, just like he had the dual race. He'll continue, only lost a couple spots. And we will now see pit stops under caution for everybody who has not pitted yet. A lot of guys probably got trapped a lap down, so they'll take the wave around to get back on the lead lap right here. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments. And again, first caution of the race. Playing NASCAR Heat 4. Going to get Heat 5 reviews are horrible. Yeah, it's Heat 4 is a better game, in my opinion, than Heat 5. Yeah, so there, again, a lot of the drivers that pitted already staying out right now. So here we go. The green flag will wave. Lap cars to the inside of the lead lap cars. Johnson restarts at 16th. This is as far back as he has been today. And again, after that first caution, so we'll see. Johnson not going with Gordon to the inside. Sticks with Dale Jr., the man he was drafted with earlier. Wow, Jimmy's really loose. Tire spinning on the restart. Gordon with a good run on the inside, and he'll just try to draft now behind Gordon, but it's a little too late. Casey Mears on the 41 to the inside. Oh, a little contact up ahead. Off of turn 2 as the field kind of got jacked up. Everybody hangs on to it, and look at the run Jimmy Johnson's got on the inside. Oh my goodness, what a run by the 48. Field stacked up off turn 2. And Johnson passed about 8 cars, lap cars and lead lap cars included, and is behind venerated rookie driver J.R. Jones and the 176. Was likely a lap down. Gordon behind Johnson. Johnson bump drafted him into turn 3. The run Jimmy's got, Jones tried to block, and he made contact with the 48. Definitely wasn't clear. Paul Menard's up here at the front. I'm not sure if he pitted either. And they're 3 wide off of turn 4. I've not seen the big one, but we have had one caution. Elijah Ladeau, welcome to the stream. Lap 40 here at Daytona. First fifth of the race, first quarter of the race. Johnson just to the inside of the 10. That's driven by rookie Scott Riggs this season. They make a slight bit of contact into turn 1. Everybody holds on. Jimmy with a big run off turn 2. Menard with a block. Johnson's car wiggled that time quite a bit. Desperately tried to get to the inside of Menard, but couldn't do it there. Just trying to stay on the inside as much as he can. Robbie Gordon leads this race currently in the 31 for Richard Childress. Sadler trying to block Johnson. Jimmy gave him a huge push. He's got a big run down the back straightaway. 194 before he gets to the back bumper, the 38, the 88. Teammates, Robert Yates Racing, working together both inside the top 10. Jarrett, a 3-time Daytona 500 winner of his own. Somebody bounced off the wall off of turn 4. I believe it was Ricky Craven in the 32, who remember won season 2 Daytona 500 on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Oh boy. Let's stack it up a little bit right there. They're 3 wide off turn 2. Harvick trying to go, oh, up the middle, a block, contact, multiple cars get through, and Johnson somehow saves it and makes it through everybody. 3 wide, somebody trying to pull a block on the outside. There's still 3 wide up ahead inside the top 5. And Jimmy Johnson threads the needle, Days of Thunder action there. Up the middle, very minimal contact, but he made it through. And we stay green here at Daytona. How the heck did Jimmy Johnson get through that? I couldn't tell who that was that tried to throw a block, but whoever it was in the outside lane. Sadler to the back bumper of Johnson. Kevin Harvick in this little bit of a group as well. We're racing as Harvick in the Busch Series. Yeah, no points paying wins at least. He did win the 2019 Clash. I always kind of forget that he won the race. I just remember how bad the race was. But Jimmy did win that race. Johnson leading this pack. He's got a strong car. We haven't seen too much of these older game playthroughs that we're able to, lead the draft and still run pretty fast. But here today, that is a different case. Passing Paul Menard for position. For 5th, Menard, the rookie, having a great day. His teammate Harvick's on his inside. Bobby Gordon was in dual race number 2, so we didn't get to see exactly what kind of speed he had. Look at the speed Johnson's got, though, down the back straightaway. Gonna get around Dale Jarrett. Jarrett pinches him, but Johnson's clear. Johnson's got a teammate of Brian Vickers inside the top 3. Maybe he can go up there and work with him. Jimmy to 4th currently. Kyle's a very talented driver, like him or not. That's why he's a 2-time champ. Over 50 career wins, and he's only, 34 going on 35? I know he started his career younger in the Cup Series, but still. Lap car trying to block, maybe he can get back on the lead lap. That's Brad Carter in the 111. Johnson not even going with his teammate Vickers. He's going with the lap car of Brad Carter in the 111 instead. Generator rookie. Oh, hang on, Jimmy. Unbelievable save. He clipped the apron there on the straightaway, but it still likes to turn the car around in this game and somehow gets around the 111 despite how loose he got. Yeah, Kyle Busch was a rookie in 2005, but he is not in this game because, remember, this is the 2004 season. He's in this game in the Busch Series, but he's non-rookie in the Cup Series until we get to NASCAR 06. Robbie Gordon leading a lot of laps here in the Daytona 500. Not one of the drivers I would have expected to be out in front, but it's Daytona after all. Anybody could win. If you're in the field, you got a shot. Relatively tame compared to what we saw in the dual race and in the Bud Shootout. I know we've had a lot of racing action, but as far as cautions go, I mean, think about it. We had 2 in the Bud Shootout, both in the first 40 laps of the race. A 50-lap dual race, we had a couple there as well. Johnson to the inside to get to second, passing Jamie McMurray in the 42. On the Havoline paint scheme. Very nice looking car. Johnson is on the move, trying to get back to the front. A second off the lead. It's weird how Robbie Gordon just kind of pulled these guys on the restart. But that 48 car, Jimmy Johnson, is a little bit faster. He's got drafting up from behind from Jamie McMurray. Hopefully Jamie doesn't try to battle him too much, and they can work together and gain time even quicker. About 9/10 of a second back for Johnson right now. His pack is growing closer and closer together. A little bit further back, spaced apart towards the front. Lap 50. Quarter of the way through the Daytona 500. And on top of having a great Daytona day, hopefully you guys are having a good Valentine's Day as well. Kind of forgot it was Valentine's Day. So pumped for the 500 and through Speed Weeks this week. Mine's been in racing mode. Well, he's definitely been trying to get around, and McMurray scrapes the wall off turn 4, breaking his momentum that he had on Johnson. Jimmy got down to about 8/10 of a second. Robbie Gordon's really good in the corners. That's got to be why he pulled away. Down to about 8/10 of a second again, though. You just got to stay consistent. These Chevys have been really fast today. Doesn't matter what team either. And once he gets in the draft of Robbie Gordon, Johnson should have a huge run. It's just not quite close enough. 7/10 of a second now. McMurray's not really racing him anymore and just trying to run his own line and stay in the draft. It's going to help Jimmy get a little bit closer. Jimmy made a little mistake there, though. Very minor. Well, thankfully I don't have to work tomorrow, so worst case scenario, if it rains, not working. I actually, when I did work Mondays at my last job, last year I actually called off because I did not want to miss the Daytona 500. And I usually don't call off. Now, granted, I did have sick time, so I still got paid, so it wasn't like it was like a no-call, no-show, or, I called off and I wasn't getting paid. I was still getting paid because I had the sick time. So I never used it up until that point, but I'm not missing that. Like, I don't miss Cup races as it is, let alone the Daytona 500. Johnson has a run down the back stretch. He's yet. Jimmy loose off turn 4 and in the wall. He overcorrected it. And he's over a second behind Robbie Gordon again. McMurray to the outside. He's going to take over second. Tough break. Johnson just overran the corner. McMurray on the high side through 1 and 2. Johnson trying to run there as well just to stay in the draft. These guys are about 1.8 seconds off the lead, roughly. McMurray, 1.7. Good run by Johnson into turn 3 to the back of McMurray. He's going to try to draft with Jamie. See if he can work together with him this way instead of Johnson leading this group now that McMurray's ahead. And try to catch Robbie Gordon as quickly as they can, because Robbie's leading a lot of laps, so as far as trying to get the bonus points for the most laps led, it'll be a little bit tougher. 14 likes already. Thanks for everybody hitting that like button that have tuned in. And remember, if you haven't joined the Fantasy League yet on the NASCAR Fantasy Live, make sure you do so. You'll have a chance to win a weekly prize, which consists of you being able to appear on the predictions video for the following week if you win that week in the Fantasy League. And if you win at season end, I will buy you 2 tickets for any race of your choosing for NASCAR in 2022. I will try to make that trip as well, whether it's a family member or a friend that you want to take. If you're 18 years or older, 17 years or younger, so under the age of 18, you do have to have adult supervision with you, and I need to talk to them before buying your tickets, but it is free to enter. We'll be winners. Unless I win, but you guys get to go up against me. In worst case scenario, I win the regular season, you still got a shot to win the playoff for the same prize. Welcome back, Tim. Murray and Johnson are closing in a lot quicker with Johnson being the push car. They were gaining on Robbie Gordon, got within about 0.4 of a second, but they're getting more rapidly with Johnson pushing McMurray. Not physically pushing him, but just drafting him, share drafting. Bumpers don't align right with the Gen 4 cars. You can't really push, especially on this bumpier racetrack at Daytona. And they are right back to within about 0.3 of a second, and McMurray's getting a huge draft now off of Robbie Gordon and might have a chance to get around him. And he's going to block Johnson. Johnson gave McMurray a little push. Jamie pinching Jimmy really down there. Into turn 1, nearly 3 wide for the lead. What a move by Johnson. And he's underneath the race leader, Robbie Gordon. Got around McMurray. McMurray goes high, though, to draft with Robbie Gordon instead. And Johnson's kind of hung out on the inside lane. Falls back to third, and they'll try it again. Big run to the back of McMurray. Jamie did not go all the way to the inside. And the singular Chevrolet of Robbie Gordon continues to lead. McMurray scrapes the wall off 4. No chance to get a crossover on Johnson. Gordon leads another lap. Jimmy to the inside for the lead. Big run. Robbie Gordon couldn't block it. And after a long-awaited time, Johnson is back out in front of the Daytona 500. Lap 59, he has not led since the caution, and that caution, remember, came out at lap 35. Blown engine on the inside of the track. Jeff Burton up in smoke. His day will come to an end. And Jeff Burton and his chances of winning his first Daytona 500 are done. Robbie Gordon had a run, but then McMurray went to the bottom behind Johnson instead. But look at Robbie Gordon. He's just so good in the corners. And the 31 car of Robbie Gordon is back out in front again. Ooh, hang on. Very minimal contact between the 48 and the 42, but we've seen all speed weeks long, it doesn't take much. Johnson to the high side, trying to get a draft off of Robbie Gordon once again. Down the back straightaway with a run. And Robbie couldn't block it. And Johnson into turn 3 will clear Robbie Gordon with a clean pass. And he's back out in front again in the Daytona 500. And this hard racing between the top 3, which McMurray has not gotten to the lead yet. Jimmy loose off turn 4 in the wall. Oh man, McMurray almost snuck by to the inside to lead his first lap, but couldn't quite do it. Johnson, I don't know how, holds on to the lead. And everybody else is back in it again. Jimmy's just getting really loose. Saw that midway through the opening run as well, and Robbie Gordon's going to take the lead again. Kevin Harvick continues to close. Robbie got way out ahead of these guys, though, and that's going to give Johnson a major run into turn 3. To the inside goes Johnson. He's got the nose out in front. Oh, he crowds the 31 of Robbie Gordon, but a clean pass nevertheless. And clear to take the lead back to the line again. Elliott Sadler for second to the inside of Robbie Gordon. Looking for the lead with Harvick pushing him. Harvick not going with his teammate Robbie Gordon. Kind of surprised. Sadler with a run. Harvick as well. Johnson hangs on to it. Harvick just shot the 38 car to the lead. Elliott Sadler, who hasn't led a lap yet today, has a chance to lead a lap off turn 4 for the first time. But Harvick now has a run to the inside. Sadler continuing to try and block. Sadler leads his first lap of the race by inches over Harvick. Harvick, though, with a run on the bottom. Johnson with a run down to the inside of Harvick. 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. What a move by Johnson. Hasn't cleared Harvick yet. But he does get around Sadler. And Harvick holds on to the lead. 48 is wiggling a lot on corner exit. Still wiggling down the straightaways, and that's because of the analog stick that you guys know of. And how about this one? Johnson to the lead. Oh, he didn't clear Harvick. Contact. Contact and battling for the lead. Harvick still wiggling. Trying not to spin out. And somehow again holds on to the lead. In a desperate situation. And somehow we continue with just one caution today, and I don't know how. Sadler's been so close to leading his first lap of the day. Lap 65, he's in it. Trying to contend again, but Robbie Gordon pulls up and blocks, and here's another Gordon. A 3-time Daytona 500 winner, Jeff Gordon. In the 24, trying to win. No, at this point in time, he was only a 2-time 500 winner. He didn't win his third until 2005. This is the 2004 season. Johnson's just so loose. And he goes around in the middle of the pack. 4, 5, 6 cars involved. Brian Vickers, Dale Jarrett, up and over. Goes another car. Dale Jr. involved as he goes up and over. I don't know if he made a full flip. I think the car just kind of came off the ground as he surfs over top the 88 of Dale Jarrett. And the big one is out at Daytona for the first time. 4 tires, full tank of fuel, everybody on pit road. Johnson's still in this thing. I can't say the same for everybody else. Jeff Gordon wins the race off pit road. And some drivers might have stayed out. Probably lap cars if they did. Green flag back in the air. He tried to repair as much damage as he could, and how much speed is knocked out of this race car after the crash. Oh, how did he get to the bottom? 3 wide. He was side drafting the 192. And he took an absolutely huge run. Oh! Almost slid into the 151. How much is the damage going to not only affect the speed, but the handling in the 48? We try to get up to speed here at Daytona. 3x3 through turns 3 and 4. That's very treacherous for everybody. Now into the tri-oval. They're still 3 wide. Remember, double file restart only because the lap cars are on the inside of the lead lap cars. Johnson trying to get a draft here. They're 3 wide up in front again. Saw a crazy restart the last time. And now already seeing the big one here today. Johnson had a huge head of steam. They're still 3 wide. Slides in behind the 191. Stewart pulls into this lead group again as well. Johnson loose. Same spot that the big one was caused. Similar to how that crash went in the Bud Shootout where 4 cars were involved, looked like at least 6 were involved in this one. Pass on the outside around the lap car. Caution. Trouble in turn 3. Caution will wave for the 3rd time in the Daytona 500. There's a crash in turns 3 and 4. Ward Burton in the 0 tried to block the 77 of Brendan Gaughan and just wasn't clear. He just shoved him right in the wall as like one of the rookie drivers got caught up in it as well and slammed into the back of Brendan Gaughan. So our 3rd caution of the day now here at Daytona. Green flag back in the air. Lap 75. Cautions breeding cautions at the Daytona 500. Johnson restarting in 5th, trying to get to the inside. Here's Brendan Gaughan. He was a lap down, got squeezed into the wall by Ward Burton. Johnson barely gets in front of him. Jimmy has been gunslinging it on these restarts, and it's worked out for him all speed weeks long. Look at the run, though, on the outside. That top side really took off after a little bit. Johnson trying to stay in the draft of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in here today for the race. Great American race on NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. Comment section very lively throughout the course of the race so far, so I appreciate that as well. Trying to read the chat as much as I possibly can, but you guys know, very intense racing all around Daytona. A little contact off turn 2. Very minor, but I mean, they're nearly 3 wide up there. They're 3 wide behind Johnson, we know that. Kurt Busch, who started at the rear, made his way into the top 10. Riding behind Jimmy Johnson. Johnson trying to keep him behind him as they run down this lead pack again. The tri-oval, risky move for Johnson to get all the way to the apron to get around Scott Riggs, the rookie in the 10 car. Three wide into turn 1. Johnson making a couple more passes all around lap cars though. No one for position. Robbie Gordon is for position. A little contact between those lap cars off of turn 2. Robbie Gordon trying to block Johnson. Johnson scrapes the wall, stays in the draft, and still gets around Robbie Gordon. Again, this car, despite being involved in the big one, still has speed. Junior had heavy damage from the big one. He's got speed still, because he's running inside the top 5. And Jeff Gordon currently leads the race. Murray might be holding up Stewart. Stewart, through the entirety of his career, never won the Daytona 500. Can he win it today? Will we have a first-time winner? I think there's a good chance we're going to get a first-time winner in this race, knowing Junior would have won this race in the 2004 season, but this is the 2004 season, so I guess you can say he's never won this race. Maybe trying to recreate history, though. Johnson hasn't won one up to this point. Stewart never won one in his career. And all those guys are in the top 6. Jamie McMurray won one eventually in his career in 2010. Not at this point in time, though. Same team he's running for, but a different car number. Stewart's had chances to get underneath McMurray. Hasn't been able to take advantage of it yet. Johnson just trying to trap the Stewart, get Tony by Jamie, and finally it looks like he's going to be able to do it. Johnson wants to work together with Smoke and catch those top 3 that have just kind of pulled away. Johnson follows him by McMurray. Robbie Gordon trying to follow Johnson now. McMurray's hung out to dry on the outside. Weather looks good for Daytona. That's good. That's a relief. Yeah, they still got a couple hours, so even if it was wet right now, they'd be able to dry it up in time to get the race started normal time. They only got to get to halfway, I guess, technically. That would probably make for an upset winner. Little ally ship between the two Chevys of Stewart and Johnson. Remember, Pontiac no longer in the sport of NASCAR in 2004 like they are in our NASCAR Thunder 04 season, which will again continue tomorrow as we'll hopefully finish that up within the next week or two. We'll go to Atlanta tomorrow. Junior trying to block Tony Stewart on the inside of the racetrack. Johnson didn't work well with Junior earlier. Junior's got to be careful. He's been getting tight off turn 4. That almost opened the door for Stewart to get under him again. But again, Dale Jr. throwing some blocks. Entertaining race up to this point, just over 80 laps complete. I think it'd be cool if Dodge was back in NASCAR. Oh, Jimmy trying to just shove the 20 car underneath the 8. That didn't work. Jimmy had a big run, and he wasn't willing to pass Stewart. He was willing to help him out still. And they both lose a little bit of momentum. Well, we'll try it again, I'm sure. Stewart took a lot of time to try and get around McMurray earlier, and he was taking a lot of time to get around Junior as well. And Johnson's like, all right, we need to go. I know it's a long race, even from this point still. Jimmy led a lot of laps early. He hasn't really led a lot in the last 40 to 50 laps, so he'd like to lead the most if he can. And Johnson's got the run underneath Stewart. He'll just pass him himself and get to the back bumper of Dale Earnhardt Jr. now for third. Harvick's been trying to go for the lead on Gordon, but he's got no help behind him to try and make that pass. Track position was huge in the Bud Shootout, huge in the truck race, but the Busch race and here in this, the dual race in the 500, we have not seen track position mean as much. Johnson shoves the back of Junior into turn one as he closes in on Harvick and Gordon himself. Chevys all rounding out the top five. They've been strong all day. Harvick has the run. He's got Junior and Johnson behind him. And Gordon hung out to dry. Jimmy not going with his teammate. Instead stays behind the 8 car. Gordon falls back to third. And Junior now going for the lead underneath Kevin Harvick. Harvick leads the lap. Johnson to the inside of his teammate Gordon. Surprised the teammates didn't work together there to try and hold on to the lead for themselves. But Harvick still holds on to the lead. Harvick with a block off turn 2 down the back straightaway. Johnson laying back, trying to get the run. He's got Gordon behind him. We'll see if Gordon can keep up with him here. Nowhere to go, though, into turn 3 for Jimmy as he's stuck behind the 8 car. Junior gives up the bottom. Might have tried to fake high and go low on Harvick. It's going to allow Jimmy Johnson to get the run. Out of the outside goes Johnson. Contact with Harvick, trying to side draft him a little too aggressively, perhaps. Junior underneath him for second. Aggressive move to the outside that just did not pan out for Johnson. Harvick trying to block Junior to the high side. Giving up the bottom here for Jimmy. Jimmy back to second. And right in line behind the 29 of Harvick. Harvick, of course, on the cover of this NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 video game. And trying to win Season 1 of the 500 on NASCAR 05, just like we did with Thunder 04. And again, a run to the high side by Johnson. That time there isn't any contact. Maybe he can make the run. No. Harvick protecting the bottom, trying to make Jimmy pass him high. And Jimmy just can't get around him. See if he can get a run down the back straightaway again. He does get another run. And again to the outside, and he brushed the wall. Johnson made a mistake that time. Just gets so close. Maybe he can get the bumper out in front, but he just can't clear him. Harvick with a block. Wasn't clear. Kevin got a little loose, but holds on to the lead. Jimmy did not check up at all that time. Just tried to absolutely stay in it. Junior tried the outside off turn 2, but he had no help to get around Johnson. Jimmy right behind the 29 of Harvick. And spacing out within the top 5 a little more than what they were moments ago. Junior almost got in the wall off turn 4. He got tight. Really kept it off the wall. Loses a little bit of ground back behind the 48 again. Just nowhere to go. Johnson does not have enough help behind him. Another massive run into turn 3. Going high. Just not enough. What is it going to take for Johnson to get around Harvick? That 29 car very strong at the front of the field. And he's doing everything right to perfection to hang on to this race lead. Another one. Johnson messed it up. He bounces into the wall, then into Harvick. Harvick's in the wall into turn 1. Johnson misses him to the inside. Jimmy's still loose, but takes the lead. Not the way he wanted to do it, as Harvick falls back to, I believe, 3rd. Maybe 4th. Yeah, Gordon's in 3rd, so Harvick fell back to 4th. Junior to 2nd. Oh, Johnson overdrives the corner. What a save, and he holds on to the lead. No, contact with Junior. Stewart and Junior get together. And Jeff Gordon will take the lead at the line. Johnson never even led that lap. Somehow he was able to stay in the top 2 the whole time. Talk about this race turning up on its side. You got stuff like this going down. And Jeff Gordon now leads once again in the Daytona 500. And again, Johnson's loose, and around he goes. Locks it down and saves it. He was struggling terribly for the last couple laps. And a little bit of a save on the inside of the racetrack, luckily for him. And he's going to pit. I'd have to imagine everybody else will pit as well. No! Johnson pits, everybody stays out. Jimmy is going to repair any damage he's received recently. And surprised nobody came onto pit road there. Problem with losing this track position for Johnson is we've seen these crazy restarts, and it would not surprise me if we ended up seeing another one. I think he will. Have to give it time. Might see him at Indy this year. Who knows? IndyCar running the Saturday before the Cup cars. I mean, it's possible. I don't know who he'd race for, though. Maybe Ganassi opens up another car. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. It's not taking off. We've seen stack-ups on the restarts, though, at the middle or the back of the pack. Johnson can't keep the car straight down the straightaways because of the analog stick. And Jimmy's about ready to lose this draft, trying to cling on to Earl Hall, and he's not going to be able to as they get up to speed. Gordon still leads here at Daytona, lap 96. We're almost halfway home in the 500. Couple of single car spins, and we've had a couple of wrecks. including the big one. Just short of the lap 70 mark. Tristan Games, welcome to the stream. And Johnson has lost the draft. This is what we saw with Harvick in the Busch race, in the truck race with Edwards. And that's where the track position matters. And he didn't have to pit there, but he chose to, thinking everybody else was probably going to pit. And that is really tough. Johnson hoping for another caution, perhaps. Long race still to go as we're just shy of the halfway mark. Surprised that pack is still all together. How many cars are left in this race? Johnson's last on the lead lap at 33rd. We do know there are some lap cars up there. At least with Johnson being this far back, he'd missed the big one if things got out of control again. Or perhaps another caution. Doesn't have to worry about racing back to the caution flag, so check up as soon as the yellow happens. We had a lot more people watching earlier. I think we had 13 at the end of the dual race, and that ended like at 11 in the morning, so that was pretty impressive. But we did have more people watching earlier. Still half a race to go, though. Things can shape up. It's still early as well, especially if you live on the West Coast, so not faulting. I'm sure by the end of the race we'll have our viewers come back into this room, check out what's going on in our NASCAR 05 Daytona 500. The first full cup race on 05 on the channels right here, right now. At least Johnson knows he's got a fast car, but he's just got no drafting help right now. I never sleep in that late. I don't like sleeping in that late. I don't like myself if I sleep in past 8 o'clock a lot of the time. Like, I set my alarm for 7:30 today so I can get to editing. Johnson trying to keep it off the wall. He got loose off turn 4, and he did clip the wall anyway. Lap 100 this time by. That was just a lack of concentration with him being by himself. Jimmy needs a caution, but he doesn't need himself to be the caution. He needs as much speed in this 48 car as humanly possible so they can try to get back towards the front. Let's shot to win this. About 11 seconds off the lead. No drafting helmet, and everybody else again. It's up there towards the front in that lead pack. So halfway home here today in the Daytona 500. Plenty of time. We've seen 4 cautions in the first half of the race. We saw 6 total in the Busch race and 5 in the truck. So by those trends, we haven't seen the last caution yet. That will bring Jimmy right back into it once there is one. Okay, so Tristan lives on the West Coast. Ten people watching right now. Again, thanks for tuning in. Johnson just lost the draft on the restart. Somebody is on pit road as we speak, as we are just past halfway here in the Daytona 500. The reason why Johnson lost the draft is because he did not take off on the restart with nobody lined up behind him. And he was at the back because he pitted under that last caution. Everybody else stayed out. So they will have to pit, which should cycle, Jimmy back to the lead, but Jimmy's just hoping for a caution to get back on the same strategy, really. That was tough because we've seen all speed weeks in the truck, the Busch Series, that they pit almost under any caution. They have so far today, but they did not pit that time. Still a long race to go, though. We're going to alternate through the different camera angles for the first time today. Green flag pit stops are going on as we speak, though. Johnson should get back to the lead here pretty quickly. So maybe this strategy can work out. He might be able to make it on field to the end of the race, and if that's or not to the end of the race, but on the same amount of stops. And if that's the case, this could work out. Gotta make sure nobody wrecks coming into pit road as well. He's just kind of overdriving the corner. A lack of concentration with him being by himself, and you still have to keep the concentration on. Cars on pit road. Gordon's still staying out, though. He's one of the last drivers still. Try and stay out. Unfortunately, no in-car cam. It's unfortunate. I'm alternating through these different camera angles. Used to live in Arizona, now live in Washington. Nice. Pacific West Coast. I've never been anywhere further west than Chicago. Talladega is kind of it's like south and west of where I live. Those are both central time zones. Gordon just came to pit road. That cycles Bobby Labonte into the lead. And Jimmy Johnson should be in the top 10 now. Yes, up to 9th. Any online lobbies for Heat 5 soon? I hope. Again, I got to make that trip to Best Buy. If I could beat the snow tomorrow, see, that's the thing that's been holding me back. It seems like every time I'm off of work, we get huge snowstorms, which I guess better than me, having those on my days I have to work, but still. Rest of the leaders on pit road. So Jimmy Johnson will be back out in front here at Daytona in the 500. There'll be a lead change this time by at the start-finish line. See exactly how much of a lead he's going to have when everybody cycles through. Be able to tell who will be that second place car, unfortunately. So about a 22-second lead. Johnson's just going to try to hang on and lead as many laps as he can here. Get him closer to leading the most laps. Maybe we get a caution before Johnson has to pit, and that would be perfect if we just ran this run towards the end, and then we get that caution. Go back to the far chase cam for the moment. So that back car is definitely going to be closing in on Johnson. Jimmy will have older tires compared to everybody else by about 15 laps when they get to him. 10 to 15 laps. Going to Dover in a few months. So am I. Hope to see you there. Yeah, I'm going to be making my first trip to Dover. Going to get me, try to buy me a Miles to Monster trophy. It'll be pretty cool in the background. I think that's one of the coolest looking trophies in NASCAR. But yeah, it'll be my first trip to Dover. I'm going there with a couple friends. Plan on making it about a 4-day vacation, so it'll be a lot of fun. Hope to see you there. Johnson just kind of riding around right now. Probably been the dullest moment of the race so far, but it has been action-packed up until then, and the action will pick up again here eventually. These guys are gaining on Johnson, but not as rapidly as you would think. He was 22 seconds ahead, but he's been out in the lead for about 6 or 7 laps already, and they've only gained about just over 5 seconds, almost 6 seconds. So a little less than a second a lap. Again, that just goes to show the single car speed Johnson's got, even on older tires. Aaron England, welcome to the stream. Congrats. Hit 10,000 points this race. Yes. 10,000 skill points. It's easy to do in a full race, though. Usually. Especially leading. Fortunately, you can't score more than that. I wish you could. But that helps me to unlock other Johnson paint schemes and other tracks so we can get those fantasy tracks involved with our custom schedule season, because we will be doing that the second go around. That's why we're doing 2 seasons. NASCAR 05 and all these game playthroughs, so we can do a custom schedule season. Johnson halfway on fuel now and still has about a 14-second lead. Again, off strategy for Johnson. He pitted about 10 to 15 laps before everybody else under the last caution. Everybody else stayed out under the last yellow. It has cycled Johnson to the lead. But with no drafting help for Johnson, that's where it's really going to cost him. Oh boy. Lack of concentration. I was trying to read the chat there. Not a good time to do that in the center of the trial. Still on the road to 1,000 subs though, so make sure you guys sub if you haven't already. Do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every single day. My road to becoming a broadcaster in the sport of NASCAR. That's my dream job, so I started the channel. And this is my first foot in the door of trying to go on that journey. So you can definitely follow me on that journey. And like I said, do these video game full race live streams every day, and other related NASCAR content coming up in the future. Can't wait to get even more. Oh boy, Homer. I don't miss those days. It's weird. Like, most adults say, like, stay young while you can. Well, since I graduated high school, that's when most of my fun journeys have been. That's when I started traveling to different races. Because I only went to one race growing up until I graduated high school, because we never went. Like, I was always a bigger NASCAR fan than anybody else in my family, my immediate family. Like, my grandparents they were bigger fans. My grandpa took me to my first race in Michigan in 2015. But, you know, as far as my immediate family goes, yeah, they're just not into it as much as I am. But over the last couple of years, taking them to a couple races, at least one a year, if not more, and they've been, you know, getting into it slowly too. That's the best thing you can do, is get somebody to a racetrack that hasn't been there before, and they'll have a new appreciation for it. That's what I plan on doing with 2 more friends when we go to Dover in a few months. So I'm excited about that. It'll be the first time we'll take a road trip all together at once as well, so that'll be kind of fun. School online homework is annoying. Yeah, it was pretty annoying. I definitely don't miss those days. I don't reminisce, not being in school or high school or growing up as a kid anymore. There were good moments, don't get me wrong. I mean, there were good moments, but there are better moments in the future as well. If you look at the bright side of things, still to come, so you can't just be reminiscing in the past. 16 likes right now. Thanks for everybody hitting that like button. Make sure you do so if you haven't already, and again, subscribe. Jimmy Johnson leads the Daytona 500 on NASCAR 2005 on KRC. Keegan Schneider, again, broadcasting as always with these full race live streams, these realistic broadcasts. Cup Series action on NASCAR Thunder 2004 tomorrow at Atlanta. 4 races to go on the final season of that playthrough. Trying to get Terry Labonte a couple more wins on her way out of the season there. Still in the hunt for the championship, although our chances are slim to none. It's still a close battle within the top 5 that we get to watch for those final 4 races. Again, that continues tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Predictions video also out on the channel for today's Daytona 500. Make sure you do that and join the Fantasy Live League by going to NASCAR's mobile app or website, going to the fantasy portion or fantasy section of the website or app, sign up using your email, and search KRC League, all caps for KRC, and then League, hit join, and you're in with a shot to win weekly prizes such as being able to come on weekly. So say you win today's prize. If you win the league for the Daytona 500, then you will be on the predictions video for next week. And that will run all the way through the season. If you win the season end championship, you guys get you and a family member or a friend a couple tickets, and caution will wave again. Caution's out. Anyway, those tickets for a NASCAR event in 2022 of your choosing. And Ricky Rudd got tight or tried to clear Scott Riggs in the 10. He goes around off turn 4. That's where we've seen the majority of these accidents in 3 and 4. Again, Rudd tried to clear. A little contact with the 22 of Scott Wimmer. Second time he's been involved in an accident. Riggs and Rudd a part of this one. So that caution will wave again, and Johnson will again hit pit road. This played perfectly for Jimmy Johnson, and we'll see if everybody else pits behind him. No, they will not. So 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel for Johnson. He'll repair a little bit more damage. And Jimmy will go to the back again, but we'll see if he can stay with the draft this time and not lose it on the restart. So staying with the strategy that's led him a lot of laps today. Again, he's got a fast race car.
We're starting in the back, so be careful and stay out of trouble.
Gonna have to make sure the big one doesn't happen on the restart. We've seen one big one today, 5 cautions total, most of them on the restarts. Green flag back in the air. 79 laps to go in the 2004 Daytona 500. See if Dale Jr. can recreate history winning this race, but Jeff Gordon leads as we speak. Contact with 30 on the restart that time. Johnson's got a teammate of Terry Labonte right behind him. 30 of Sauter gets by on the outside. Johnson going to try to draft with his teammate Terry Labonte as he lets Terry go. Jimmy just trying to stay with him as they get up to speed. If not, he's going to lose the draft again. He might have let him go too early. Same mistake Johnson made on the last restart. Livestream involves NASCAR when I'm older. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. New leader, Kevin Harvick, into turns 1 and 2 as he gets around Jeff Gordon. Labonte's so close to the back of this field, but he's just not close enough to get a draft yet. Born in 2001. Okay, you're only a couple years younger than me. Johnson just trying to get to the back of this pack as soon as he can. He's definitely clinging on a little bit better than what he did on the last restart. Has to have the concentration here. And he is going to be very, very close on fuel to make it on one more stop to the finish. That last restart going at with 79 laps to go. The pit window's 35 to 40 laps. But he's got no drafting help to try and save fuel, so he's literally going full throttle all the way around this track. Mistake, lack of attention, paying attention down the back straightaway. That might have costed Johnson any last sort of shot of staying in this draft. Again, he could have stayed out, raced with those guys, but decided to pit again and try the same strategy. About 11 to 12 seconds off the lead before they started pitting last time, so he's kind of hoping at least he's in that range this time as well. Already 6 seconds off the lead and again out of the draft. $18 likes so far. Definitely helping out with the algorithm. I appreciate it. Again, hit by hitting the like button, it gets these videos and streams I make or do recommended under other related NASCAR content to help reach out with new viewers that aren't subscribed or watch the channel. Comment section's been very lively today, so I appreciate that as well. And as we get later into this race, that's later into the afternoon, we get closer to the 500, I'm sure get more people to hop on board here by the end of this one. I guess our annual tradition. Last year, the Daytona 500 is when this channel all began. Running a full race live stream on NASCAR Heat 4 before the actual Daytona 500. 1 year later, here we are. Now, it's not the exact day 1 year later. Our 1 year anniversary isn't until Tuesday. But it's been a pretty good opening year. Calendar year, that is. Cited plans for this year. Getting to more racetracks, more in-depth vlogs at the racetrack. Continuing with these classic game playthroughs as well as when the next NASCAR game comes out, just like we did with Heat 4 and Heat 5. Well, granted, we didn't do it when Heat 4 came out, but you get the point. Can't wait for that in the summer as well. Still on the road to 1,000 subs, but boy, I didn't really have any goals when I started the channel up about this time of the year last year. Other than I want to get into the sport of NASCAR, this is my first foot in the door. But as far as like expectations of where to be, especially after year one, I think we've exceeded those expectations. Most watched stream or videos, the very first one I did. Over 8,000 views the last I checked on it. And it might be more than that now. Very well could be more than that. Of course, the success out the door definitely laid the groundwork in the channel. And I'm like, okay, I could have success with this and stuck to it. We're going to continue to stick to it here. That's my little spiel on that. The back of this pack is not falling pulling away as much as what they were. Johnson seems to be running a little bit more consistent on this run than what he did earlier. 8.7 off the lead. And trying to stay within that 11 to 12 second mark by the time everybody comes to pit road, and we'll see the exact same strategy play out. Harvick has looked very strong when he is at the front of the field, like he is right now. 9 seconds off the lead. Didn't make any adjustments, but it seems like the car's just more stable right now, too. A lot of it is probably the concentration being held on right now. Yeah, it's not going to be called Heat next year. They're dropping that label, but it's still 704 games at the helm of the new NASCAR game. Still no word on exactly what the title will be. Oh, there's smoke off turn 4. Towards the back of the pack, a couple cars must have gotten together, but we stay green at lap 130. 71 laps to go in the Great American Race. Three wide at the tail of the pack. Johnson's just a little too far back. The good thing with him being this far back is that something like that could happen, or the big one, the second big one could happen, and he can miss it being this far off the back of the pack. That is going to get very dicey off turn 4. I mean, they're at least 4 or 5 rows back, 3 by 3. Johnson trying to get to the back of this pack, but then again, the way they're racing right now, I think he's content with being this far behind them. 70 laps to go in the Daytona 500 for this 2004 season. The beginning of the chase, the first year of the chase. See if we can make the inaugural class with Jimmy Johnson. Just like he actually did in real life back in 2004. We'll see if we can win him his 8th title in the Chase for 8. Chase for 8, part 2. Because we did that with Heat 5 earlier this year. You guys voted for this one. Voted for Jimmy Johnson in the fan vote on Tuesday night before the Budweiser shootout that we held for this season. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in for that one as always and placing your votes. Running as Johnson this season. The Lowe's Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. Did race with your tires. Yeah, I've been there before. Won some, we've lost some. Mainly on Heat 5 when something like that happens. Blowing a couple tires in Thunder 04. Hopefully we don't get to that point in 05 here with this game. But I'm sure it will happen in any of these series at some point in time. Again, it is going to be close on whether it will be a one-stop race to the finish for Jimmy Johnson or not. Everybody else, they're going to have to pit twice. There is no way they're going to make it on just one more stop. Again, the pit window is 35 to 40 laps, and this is where the strategy would be absolutely brilliant for Johnson if he can make it on one stop. Harvick continues to lead after nabbing the lead on the last restart from Jeff Gordon a lap after the restart took place. Johnson currently sitting in 34th. This is as far back as he has been. Last time he was in 33rd when trying this strategy. Field, though, for the most part, pretty well packed together again. Can alternate through the different camera angles for the final time in today's race. Unfortunately, not as much variety in today's games or even in NASCAR Thunder 04. I'm still disappointed. We'll be saying that most of the season, but I can't believe there's no cockpit cam in this game. For whatever reason, I remember there being a cockpit cam, but I guess there isn't one. Yeah, this is the game I played the most when I was a kid. So how great would it be for me to come back and win the Daytona 500 in the first Cup race, points race at least, back in this game? Because well, Johnson got loose in turns 3 and 4, overdriving the corner just a tad bit, unfortunately. About 15 seconds off the lead. Guess it doesn't matter when they pit, as long as they pit twice, which they should. Again, Johnson should have a one-stop race to the finish, or at least close to it. We could very well get another caution. We've had 5 today. We had 5 in the truck race on Friday and 6 in the Busch race yesterday. Johnson loose off turn 2 again, all by himself, and scrapes the wall. Well, I guess our skill points are down to 9.994 now after that scrape into the wall. Actually not made too much contact today throughout the course of this race. Fortunately, we did run it by ourselves. That shouldn't happen, but again, lack of concentration. Plus, the analog stick makes for a bad combination with this game. Less than an hour and a half away from the Daytona 500, people. Hopefully you're getting pumped, and still just over 60 laps to go in this one. Our first comer's onto pit road this time at lap 137, going on lap 138. Another loose moment there, getting into the corner, but Johnson keeps it off the wall that time. Good thing. Wearing those tires out a little bit more, though, and it's costing him time on the racetrack as well. Harvick, I'm not sure if he's drafting with anybody else. I'd imagine he probably is, but kind of gap in the majority of the pack. I'm sure some of the green flag stops going on right now are causing that as well, and a large portion of drivers on pit road. Still, though, a majority of the field on the racetrack. Inside the top 30 now for Johnson. Guess only about 5 cars on the lead lap came that time. A couple lap cars as well in there. Pit the next 3 laps and get it over with now. We can't make it that far in fuel. Again, the pit window is 35 to 40 laps. And to make this on one stop, Johnson's going to have to take this as far as he possibly can. Yeah, we cannot pit. Not this early. Still have 61 laps to go. If we pit now, it's going to be a 2-stop race, and that's just going to foil the strategy. We're going to be off strategy anyway as it is. We don't want to get back on it, at least at this point, unless we get a caution and stuff plays out that way. That's going to be the only way we have something like that happen. $60 laps left though for Kevin Harvick. Can you imagine if he wins the Daytona 500? It would be his first career 500, but he did win Season 1 on NASCAR Thunder 2004. NASCAR 05, could you imagine if he does the same? He's leading with 60 laps to go. Can he find a way to get closer to the front once again? Jeff Gordon will take over the race lead as Kevin Harvick comes to pit road. No crashes during any of the green flag stops today. I guess got that going for us. I've noticed things are not getting as spaced apart as what they have in NASCAR Thunder 04 versus this game here. So we'll go back to the far chase cam for the rest of the race now. Johnson has cycled to 12th. He will cycle to the lead eventually by quite a bit. He had about a 22-second lead when the pit stop cycled through earlier on this same strategy before that last caution came out. And they ran him down to about 4 seconds off the lead, but then a caution came out. Johnson went right back to the strategy again. But this time, with that caution though, again, he is very close on making this a one-stop race to the finish. To 8th now, back in the top 10. Gordon still has to pit, as well as the top 7. Top 7 as a whole. Johnson can lead more laps this way, of course, as well. As he tries to get closer and closer to leading the most laps, if at all possible, to get himself 10 bonus points, and if he wins, a max points day to start the season in the Daytona 500. Complete turn of events compared to what happened in the Busch and Truck Series for myself leading up to this Daytona 500, especially already winning the dual race. Rusty Wallace to the lead. He won the Budweiser shootout on Tuesday night. Leading currently, Gordon came onto pit road that time, as well as a couple other drivers. Johnson back to 4th in the top 5. Pit at 160. Yeah, if we can make it that far, we have to make it to at least lap 160, but if we can go further, every lap further, that's only going to make us that much better on fuel on that final run. Because if we make it to 160, that's only 39 laps on this run, because we went green at lap 79 to go. So that means we'd have to go an extra lap the next run. So I'd prefer lap 161 to pit. Then we could probably make it to the end from there. But it's still going to be close. Problem is, again, there's no drafting help for Johnson with this strategy. So he can't really save fuel. We'll have a lead change at the start-finish line this time by Jimmy Johnson. Won't have as big of a lead as what he did last time, but he's got about 16.5 seconds as we speak. And he'll be able to lead for a little bit, and we're right back to 9.999 on the skill points again. A little loose off turn 4 for Jimmy. Hangs on to it, stays in the gas. .55 laps to go on the Daytona 500. Johnson back out in front of the field. The way the pack racing's been so far, though, it could definitely come down to the last lap. Again, we saw a last lap pass for the win in the Budweiser shootout. Or sorry, not the Bud shootout, but we saw a last lap pass for the win in the Gatorade Duel earlier today. And I'm sure we'll see that in the Bud shootout as well. Remember, Harvick won the Season 1 Daytona 500 on pit strategy. We did not win the Daytona 500 ever on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Finished second in Season 1 to Harvick, who played the pit strategy to perfection under a caution-free race. Everybody else had to pit an extra time. Johnson trying to do the same thing here, only this one was not caution-free. Had 5 cautions. And he had to pit extra times to do this strategy. But to make it one last stop to the end of the race from the restart with 79 laps to go is going to be the big thing. If he can't make it on fuel, he'll need one more caution before the end of the race to at least get back on strategy and just try to win the race outright like that. But right now, this is what Jimmy's trying to go for. Quarter of a tank of gas left for Johnson. Noah Jones, welcome to the stream. Welcome back. Strategy race here in the Daytona 500, at least in the second half of the race for Jimmy Johnson, pitting with 79 laps to go to try and make it on one stop from that point to the end. Everybody else stayed out and just pitted about 5 to 10 laps ago. Jimmy trying to make it on one stop versus everybody else on two. Jimmy's had no drafting help to try and save fuel. And we have 51 laps to go in the Great American Race. An 8-second lead for Johnson. Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick, they've led a lot in the second half of this one. Junior led some earlier. Ryan Newman led the opening laps of the race, but blew an engine running in second on lap 30. Tough break for him. He was one of the favorites. Jeff Burton was running up towards the front in the first half of the race, also blew an engine running inside the top 10. But so far, it is the 48 team out in front with 50 laps to go in the Daytona 500. The length of the Gatorade Duel is all we have left, 125 miles to go in this 500-mile extravaganza. It's going to be a long 50 laps for Johnson's sake, trying to hope he makes it on one stop. He's going to try to hold on to the lead as long as he can, of course, as well. That will only help into the strategy. Oh, almost spun off turn 4. Boy, Jimmy got loose. Apron's just so treacherous in this game. And he saw it right there. It's not like Thunder 04 where you can kind of be on the apron and it doesn't affect you at all. It affects you in this game. You saw it right there again. Scrubbed a little bit more speed off that last lap for Johnson. And the pack is now 4.5 seconds behind him. And we're 4 seconds back when we had that last caution when Jimmy tried this similar strategy. But they are just outside the pit window to make it on field to the end from now. Again, we've seen 5 cautions today. We've seen one big one back on lap 6, or right around lap 68, when the big one struck when Johnson got loose into turn 1. That was about a 6-car pileup. It is going to be really close for Jimmy. Just trying to make it to lap 160. Worst case scenario, if he does lose the lead, he might be able to draft off the second place car. We still got 48 to go. I don't know if he's going to make it about 7 more laps this time at the line to get to lap 160. Less than a second and a half is the pack behind Johnson. Everybody else will have to pit one more time no matter what. And there's only 2 cars drafting, which I'd have to imagine are Kevin Harvick and Jeff Gordon. Harvick in second right now, gaining a ton of ground down the back straightaway. Johnson on older tires and by himself. Harvick's going to get a huge run into turn 3. And yes, Gordon is in third, drafting behind Harvick. Jimmy a little loose in the center of the corner. Harvick looks high for the lead. Kevin Harvick had the run. Johnson couldn't stop him. And Harvick back out in front here with 56 to go in the Daytona 500. But Johnson now trying to draft behind him and save any bit of fuel in the draft he can. There is no way Jimmy Johnson is going to make it. Looks low underneath Harvick. Harvick trying to pinch him down. Johnson's loose. Contact with Harvick into turn 3. Johnson back out in front again, but boy, that was close. Jimmy's going to stay out one more lap, maybe hoping for a caution. Jeff Gordon to second now. Another lead change at the line. Johnson back out in front in the Daytona 500. 55 laps to go. He was not able to make it. And he will have to take 2 more pit stops before the end of today's race, unfortunately. And Jimmy's gonna need another caution here late. Harvick on the outside, to the lead off of turn 2. And Johnson again will pit this time by. Might be able to make it another lap, but not gonna risk it. Tried something different with the strategy call. Didn't work. Now he's got to make sure he doesn't speed coming to pit road. It'll be a 4-tire stop. 70 miles per hour is the speed limit. And a good job getting down. Jimmy in need of a caution. Joshua Rumsey, welcome to the stream. Wallace wins the 500, predicting Rusty Wallace to win it. Remember, he did win the Bud Shootout. I don't know what that was. There might have been a problem with the left rear getting it on the car. Our guy went invisible there for a second. 19-second stop. More damage repaired on Johnson's car. So he'll come back out onto the racetrack. Trying to get up to speed. Well, now Jimmy Johnson has to stay on the lead lap and hope for that caution. If he goes a lap down, he will be trapped and it will be tough to get it back. He had a pretty fast stop for the most part. And he's got fresher tires than the rest of the field. I'm not doubting that we're not going to see a caution. I'd be surprised if we went 79 laps green to the end. And we've had 5 already leading up to those first 120 laps. Harvick is the race leader. Either Bubba or Blaney win the 500. I think they'll both have a good chance at great runs today. Blaney is one of my must-haves on the fantasy predictions episode. I uploaded earlier in the morning. Check that out after this stream is over, before the 500 starts for your last minute fantasy lineup advice. Oh, Harvick to the back bumper of Jimmy Johnson, and Jimmy trying to stay on the lead lap. Jeff Gordondale Jr. just behind. And you can't blame Johnson. He's going to be very aggressive because he is trying to keep his fight to win the Daytona 500 alive right now. And praying for a caution while he's ahead at the moment. Gordon to the inside of Harvick for the lead. Gordon drafting with his teammate Johnson. Might help Jeff here through the tri-oval. 40 laps to go. You know, I was kind of thinking the other day with NASCAR 06, when we get to that portion, whenever we get done with the 05 playthrough, even if we DNF ourselves, we could switch to a teammate if we have one. So I guess we'll never, like, not get to the end of a full race. Gordon to the outside. Trying to put his teammate Johnson a lap down. Johnson's had one of the stronger cars. Jimmy loose in the tri-oval, stays in the gas and beats Gordon into one, clears him again. Jimmy is putting it all on the line. 3 wide for the race lead in turns 1 and 2. Harvick to the inside. Junior sandwiched in the middle. Gordon on the inside. Look at this down the back straightaway as they are 3 wide for the race lead. All trying to put Johnson a lap down. Harvick fades on the inside line. He'll try to get it back, though, in the corner. Dale Jr. up the middle. Now slides in front of Jeff Gordon. Harvick still running the bottom. Johnson barely keeps it off the wall up forward, trying to block Jr. on the outside. Gordon back down to the bottom behind Harvick. Now to the top behind Jr. again. With 38 to go in the Great American Race. What a battle going on out in front of the field. Johnson just waiting for that caution to give himself one more chance to get back in this race. Yeah, true DNF would mean having to DNF all the time. Yeah, indeed. Oh, Gordon in the wall, off of turn number 4, into Junior. Junior saves it on the bottom of the racetrack. Not sure who got the lead out of that. I think Gordon held on to the lead. That's going to buy Johnson a little bit of extra time. They almost wrecked. The top 3 almost wrecked off of turn 4, but it does cost them time nevertheless. Now's the time for the caution. That would have been the perfect time for a caution for Jimmy Johnson. But he just didn't quite get it. Hate to see the leaders be the ones to wreck in that, but Jimmy just needs a caution however he gets it. Gordon bounced off the wall into Junior, and then Harvick was kind of behind both of them, and he had to check up. Gordon holds on to the lead. They're going to run down Johnson again eventually here, but again, it buys Jimmy a little bit of time. Maybe about 2.5 laps worth, and they'll get back to him again. Jimmy trying to stay on the lead lap. .35 laps to go for Gordon. Trying to win his 3rd Daytona 500 up to the 2004 season. 4th overall. Gordon's got to run down the back straightaway. Johnson's on the bottom for now. So Gordon not getting the draft to get the big run yet. He does have drafting help behind from Harvick and others. Now he drops to the bottom into turns 3 and 4. He's going to draft off the back bumper of his teammate Johnson. And all other teammates. It's every man for themselves at this point in the Daytona 500 especially. He can put his teammate a lap down knowing how strong Johnson is. I mean, Johnson stayed ahead of these guys every step of the way. Cars are on pit road for their final time. Short pitting as we speak. Johnson trying to block Gordon. Harvick to the inside of Gordon for the lead into turn 1. Gordon almost got the wall, and Harvick clears him. Harvick's got a massive run off turn 2. Gordon with a crossover to the inside. They're still side by side with one another. Gordon clears Harvick off turn 4. Gordon went high. Might have gotten a little tight in turns 1 and 2. Remember, those guys are on older tires. It's another thing helping Johnson at the front right now is not only the clean air, putting those guys in dirty air behind him, but their tires have about 25 more laps on them. So the grip level's just not there. Johnson low to block Gordon into turn 3. Harvick looks high. Gordon blocks him high. Gordon in the wall off turn 4. That allows Harvick to get the run to the inside again. Gordon still hanging on despite hitting the wall off turn 4 as Harvick could not clear him with Johnson in front. And a lot of other drivers now trying to contend for the race lead. I think that's Kurt Busch in the 97 who's currently in 3rd. This is the move of the race for Johnson if he does get a caution. The fact that he's able to stay in front of these guys for as long as he has. Just trying to hope and pray that we get a caution. Gordon again to the inside of Harvick for the lead. 31 laps to go at the line for Jeff Gordon as he takes the lead from Harvick. Johnson loose into turns 1 and 2. Gave up the bottom, and Gordon's got the lead off turn 2. Johnson just got a little too loose. Kurt Busch with a run on the outside. Gordon's getting way out ahead of the pack, though. Johnson wants to run him down so badly and desperately has to get around Gordon as quickly as he can in case we get a caution. Leaders are probably going to pit somewhat soon. Johnson trying to stay in the draft of Gordon. And as soon as he gets a move underneath him, he's got to go for it. Or outside, it doesn't matter. Johnson needs to get to the lead desperately. Jimmy did a great job not hitting the wall, and Gordon got by him. Here's the run to the inside. Johnson underneath Gordon. Gordon gave up the bottom. Contact as they passes one another. Jimmy got tight. Gordon gave him plenty of room, but Jimmy... But Johnson's back on the lead lap again. 29 laps to go in the 500 as Harvick leads at the line. And clears Gordon. A contact between the 48 and the 24. Long tandem off. Harvick got a little loose into turn 1 on the bottom there. He slides up. Staying in the gas though. Trying to get around Jimmy Johnson. And here comes Harvick to the top. Gordon looking to the bottom, maybe going to take it 3 wide. Oh boy, Johnson gets tight again, but holds on. That was close. Harvick might have given the leeway and got out of the gas because he's got a shot to win this thing. He doesn't want to wreck either. 28 to go. Time is ticking. Elliott Sadler to the inside of Harvick for second. Busch again, he's still in the top 5. He's actually back to 5th. Dale Jr.'s up to the 4th spot. And look at Elliott Sadler going for the lead. What a run by Elliott Sadler. Out of nowhere in the 38, maybe an underdog to win the 500. And clears Gordon off turn 4. But Gordon with the crossover as Jimmy holds on in front of Elliott. Big run on the bottom for Gordon. Nowhere to go with it with Johnson in front. What happened to the likes? Unless my laptop's messing up. We had 19 and now it's down to 9 for some reason. That was strange. Sadler coming to pit road. Leader still staying out, putting pressure on Johnson. So desperately trying to hang on. Johnson's car got a little late in the tri-oval. Gordon still on the top. Gives plenty of room on the bottom, though, for Kevin Harvick. And again, they are side by side for the lead. Junior goes top, goes back to the bottom behind Harvick instead. Busch, the highest running Ford in 4th. Gordon still stuck on the outside. Junior going for 2nd. Oh, Harvick hits the wall off turn 4. Jimmy about did too. Jimmy got a little loose. And with Harvick getting into the wall, Dale Jr. is in the lead now in the Daytona 500. Gordon trying to fight his way back to the front again. Johnson halfway on fuel with 25 laps to go in the Daytona 500. He's likely going to be 4 to 5 laps short. Maybe they get a late race caution too and he stays out and saves fuel under the caution. I mean, that's not impossible. It'd be a heck of a risk. He'll probably pit and at least top off. Junior bounces off the wall up 4, buying Johnson a little bit more time. Junior gives up the run to Gordon because of it. Kevin Harvick comes to pit road that time. Junior able to block off Gordon. And again, Kurt Busch still in this lead pack. Turn 2, Johnson desperately blocking. We might not get that caution. I mean, the later and later things go, the more spaced out everything's getting with these green flag pit stops. The second green flag stops under this run, since we went green with 79 laps to go. Kurt Busch coming to pit road. Gordon for the lead underneath Dale Jr. And at the line, I believe Gordon leads the lap. They're side by side, right behind Jimmy Johnson right now. Jimmy got loose off 2, stays in the gas, stays in front of Gordon. And Junior trying to cross over to the inside of Gordon, down the back straightaway into turn 3. Might have the advantage on the bottom behind Jimmy Johnson. Junior fakes high, goes back down to the inside. Johnson's back in the top 10. A lot of cars on the inside of the racetrack. Rusty Wallace up there. I don't think Jimmy's going to cycle all the way back to the lead. Unfortunately. A lot of guys a lap down, though. I mean, this is the perfect time for a caution. Johnson wouldn't even have to go far to the back when he has to pit. Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr. coming into the pit road at the same time. Maybe trying to stay in the draft with one another. There's Jimmy Johnson. He's probably not going to cycle back to the lead here. And at the line, there's 21 laps to go for the race leaders here in the Daytona 500. Will Johnson's in the top 10 for now. I don't think that's going to last unless we get a late race caution. Jr. trying to get up to speed as they race off pit road. Johnson just off 4 this time. So who will cycle into the lead? Jimmy couldn't even cycle back into the lead this time, even if he did make it on fuel. And no drafting help either. Some fast stops for those top 7. There might have been a little mistake on the left rear with Johnson's pit stop as well. Elliott Sadler will take the lead as we cycle through pit stops once again. And we'll have 20 laps to go in the Daytona 500 this time by. Tried the strategy. He tried to go off it and do something different. And it just doesn't look like it's going to give him a chance to win this thing. 20 laps to go. I mean, again, it's not over. We could get a caution, but there are a lot of drivers, 34 of them on the lead lap, that Johnson would have to pass with another caution unless everybody else comes to pit road, but they can make it on fuel. There's no reason for them to pit, especially at the front. Rusty Wallace pulls in behind Johnson, battling him for 8th. Johnson going to let him go, and with Jimmy letting him go, he's going to try to just draft behind him. That might not have been a great decision, though, because I don't know if Jimmy's going to be able to keep up with Rusty. Rusty on fresher tires. Worth a try, though, for Johnson. He does have 2 more cars coming up behind him as well. Way to be optimistic there, Tim. It's definitely one of the more hyped Daytona 500s in a long time. All the new changes to the schedule and driver swaps coming into this season. Very highly anticipated. Jamie McMurray has the one on the outside. Jimmy hanging on in front of him. Casey Mears, who had a good run. NASCAR Thunder 2004, and McMurray bounces off the wall off turn 4, giving up the spot to Mears. I think Johnson's done giving up positions here. It did not work with Rusty Wallace on these older tires. A little bit of damage from the big one back on lap 68. cause a caution to pit. I'm not going to intentionally cause a caution. $16 to go in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, here on KRC. Battle for 9th place going on between two Ganassi cars of Jamie McMurray and Casey Mears. Jimmy Johnson right here in 9th. Leading the way between those guys. An underdog, Elliott Sadler, leads the Daytona 500. Coming around at 15 to go as he comes off of turn 4. They shouldn't catch lap traffic by the finish. Well, maybe Jimmy Johnson, with Jimmy having to pit one more time yet. Jimmy's just kind of hoping it stays green. Or sorry, hoping that he gets a caution. So he's going to stay out as long as he can, but he'll likely have to pit eventually anyway. He blocks off McMurray. Mears with the run. Back into the top 10 goes Casey. Murray got a little tight, almost got into the wall into turns 1 and 2. Jimmy did all he could going off strategy, and that just wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good plan. He had an opportunity on that last caution to not pit, but he did anyway. Contact with Mears off of turn 4. McMurray got a piece of it. They both slide back. We stay green. No debris cautions today, despite the big one coming out. Some heavy wrecks. A couple of harder hits. Lord Burke brought out the last caution, trying to self-clear himself. In front of Brendan Gaughan on the last restart. Well, I shouldn't say on the last restart. Jimmy got loose. Just trying to block Casey Mears, and he got loose into turn 1, but he holds on in front of Casey for the position. Just hoping and praying for a caution. Obviously, Jimmy was hoping a caution would have came out much sooner so he had more time to try and gain spots, but it's not completely over. Can Elliott Sadler win this thing? That is the main question now. 12 laps to go. And he's got to be blocking for his life right now on guys like Kevin Harvick, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jr., who are at the front. Jimmy could probably go another 4 to 5 laps on fuel. He's trying to hold on for every position he can and hope for a caution. Woohoo boy, crowding Casey Mears. He barely stays in front of him. Casey to the inside. Crossing over Johnson to get around him for 9th. Trying to stay in the draft, but he gets really loose in the tri-oval. That leads to a little bit of contact with Casey Mears. Front's starting to wear off. 10 laps to go, this time by for Elliott Sadler. Here comes another Ganassi car. Sterling Marlin trying to get into the top 10 as he's on the inside of McMurray into turn 3. Jimmy Johnson's just going to short pit. He'll pit this time by as, again, the field coming down to 10 laps to go. Has to stay on the bottom, though. Can't let these cars get underneath him. So Johnson going to short pit. It'll be a fuel-only stop for Jimmy Johnson. Got to make sure he doesn't speed. And he didn't. Half a can only. No adjustments. 4 fresh tires. Sorry, no tires. And just a half can of fuel. Gas and go, just enough to get to the end and try to stay on the lead lap and in case we do get a caution here. So we will stay on the lead lap. Sadler leads with 9 laps to go in the Daytona 500. And Johnson's going to try to protect to stay on the lead lap in case we get a caution once again. The fight that he tried to earlier just didn't pan out, but now he's on older tires with going fuel only under that stop to try and stay on the lead lap. Worst case scenario, we get a caution, and Jimmy just tries to gain any spot he can. Jimmy's still trying to get up to speed into turn 3. Elliott Sadler has a gap. Life is not going to be easy for Sadler to win this Daytona 500. Oh boy. Sadler got to the outside. Close call between the 48 and the 38. Sadler's got a very loose race car. He locked the tires up coming to pit road on top of the fact he didn't change tires. And Kurt Busch has a run trying to win his first Daytona 500. He gets to the inside. Sadler throws the block though. Sadler holds on to the lead, barely in the Daytona 500. Harvick, Gordon right behind. Now a run to the inside for Kurt Busch. More cars on that outside lane, down the back straightaway at least. Sadler just trying to hold on for dear life. Jimmy loose off turn 4. Sadler with a run. Kurt Busch again to the bottom. Kurt Busch leads at the line. I believe that's the first lap Kurt's led all day. But with 7 laps to go, he's trying to win the Great American Race. Jeff Gordon. Boy, Jimmy is just so loose on these older tires. And maybe Jimmy could allow his teammate Gordon to win the 500. That might be the strategy here. Of course, Jimmy's trying to stay on the lead lap anyway. Fighting for every position he could. We are going to see a fun finish, at least at the front of the field. There's at least 4 cars battling it out. And that's not even all of them to the finish. Kurt Busch is in the wall. Kurt Busch is in the wall off turn 4. That gives Jeff Gordon the race lead. Six laps to go in the Daytona 500 for Jeff Gordon to try and win his 3rd. Kurt Busch still holds on to 2nd at least after hitting the wall. We've seen cars get tied up for all day today, whether it was in the duel or the 500 itself. Gordon with a run to the outside. He has a giant run. Help on the bottom though. Kurt Busch going with Johnson. Now goes with Gordon. Sadler goes with Johnson on the inside. Jimmy gets loose. Oh man. Contact. Sadler to the inside. They're nearly 3 wide for the lead, and they're crashing off turn 4. And Elliott Sadler's got the lead. Johnson got loose again with Sadler under him, and they were 3 wide. And Elliott Sadler has the lead with 5 laps to go in the Daytona 500, and he's driving away with it. And everybody is held up behind Johnson now. Johnson trying to draft with Harvick. Guys are probably going to need drafting help to get to Kurt Busch anyway, to Elliott Sadler anyway. Johnson just has a very loose car, trying to hang on to it. I don't think he's going to. He's trying to keep it off these guys and just run his own line now that he has lost the lead lap. Gordon's in the wall off 4. and jacks up Kurt Busch and Dale Jarrett behind him. Bobby Labonte escapes to the inside, the fourth. 4 laps to go in the Daytona 500 for Elliott Sadler. The longest 4 laps of his life. Junior and Harvick are right with one another. Can they draft each other to catch Sadler before the end of the race? Johnson's just so loose. Labonte gets by. Dale Jr. to second as he will pass and clear Harvick off turn 4. And again, Gordon gets in the wall off turn 4. He is struggling with the handling of his car late. Jarrett Gordon battling for position. So Sadler, even with the lap car, Johnson in the way, leads the Daytona 500. He's got a pretty decent advantage over Dale Jr. in second. Jr. finished second in the Busch race yesterday. Finished third in the dual race earlier today. Oh, that was a bad block. Johnson trying to help out his teammate Gordon. Jimmy's just really loose. I mean, he drifted high. He drifts back to the inside. Gordon, Jarrett, gonna get on by. So is Kurt Busch. Jimmy just trying to hold on for 34th at this point. 2 laps to go in the Great American Race. These old tires. Strategy, unfortunately, will not pay off for Jimmy Johnson. Lap and a half to go for Elliott Sadler. No cautions on the final lap in this video game. So, if Sadler gets the white flag, he needs to race all the way back to the finish, no matter what happens. And Junior has got to be closing in. Junior, by 0.06 of a second, lost to Kenny Wallace in the Busch race yesterday. The white flag is in the air, and Elliott Sadler is leading the 500. What a charge late in this race for him. Really wasn't a factor until the final 40 laps. Has timed it perfect. Off of turn 2, he still got the lead with Junior trying to close behind and recreate history, winning this Daytona 500 just like he actually did in 2004. Now into turns 3 and 4, one final time for Elliott Sadler. Trying to win the Daytona 500. For Robert Yates in the 38 car. Fords have been slow all race long, but Elliott Sadler will get the blue ovals to victory lane. Sadler wins the 2004 Daytona 500. Holding off Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Kevin Harvick behind him. Johnson brings it home a lap down in 34th in disappointment. And Elliott Sadler will win the Daytona 500. And going off strategy for Johnson's sake obviously costed him a chance to win. It probably clinched him the most laps led, but obviously no cautions in the final 79 laps like he hoped for after having 5 in the first 120. You win some on strategy, you lose some on strategy, and today Jimmy lost him. And obviously having to qualify for the top 10 in the point standings after the 26-race regular season. Virtue of points, we'll see if Johnson can do it. Man. Sadler, after starting 25th, led just 22 laps today, majority of them at the very end of today's race, and Sadler will get the win. Dale Jr. second, leading 12 laps from the pole. What a speed weeks for Junior, but no wins at all during it. Harvick led 34 laps, finishes third. Bobby Labonte led a couple, he finished fourth. Jeff Gordon led 49 laps, finished fifth. Dale Jarrett didn't lead a single lap but finished sixth. Kurt Busch led 1 late in the race, finishes seventh. Rusty Wallace eighth, leading 2 under pit strategy. McMurray led 2 under strategy, finishing ninth. And Casey Mears rounds out the top 10, also didn't lead a lap. And we'll take a look at who all DNF'd today. 33 drivers finished on the lead lap. and Jimmy Johnson led 48. So Gordon will lead the most laps by 1 lap over Johnson. So even that strategy didn't even lead Johnson the most laps. By 1 lap, Jeff Gordon gets 10 bonus points. Jimmy with just 5. And a 34th place finish. Scott Riggs, Lockhart, Brendan Gaughan also finished a lap down. Our first DNF was at the very end of the race from Ronnie Reynolds as he finishes in the 38th spot. Tony Stewart ran in the top 10 for the first half of the race. Unfortunately, he did not win his first 500, and Tony Stewart, unfortunately, DNF with a blown engine. We saw Jeff Burton blow an engine. Matt Kenseth also blew an engine. He was fast in the duel, and unfortunately could not make it here. We saw Newman DNF at lap 30 with a blown engine. He led laps early on, led the first lap of the season and of the race. And Casey Kane blew an engine on lap 1 after having an amazing duel race, finishing second, losing that race on the final lap to Jimmy Johnson. And Kane DNF'd from the 5th starting spot as well, one of the favorites perhaps today. The rookie, I'm sure, will have chances to win going forward this season. So altogether, 5 DNFs in the Daytona 500. Or sorry, 6 DNFs in the Daytona 500 today. Thanks everybody for watching. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. It was an amazing day of Daytona action, but it's not done yet. The actual Daytona 500 coming up in about a little over a half hour from the drop of the green flag. So make sure you tune in for that one and come back to the channel later tonight for a post-race analysis video that will be up by the end of the night, as long as this race doesn't go all night, but we'll see. So hopefully you guys enjoy the 500. Again, like, share, and subscribe. Join the NASCAR Fantasy League on the Fantasy Live portion on NASCAR's website or mobile app. Go to Fantasy, sign up with your email, and search for KRC League to join the league. Again, weekly prizes. If you win any of the weeks during the course of the season, you will get to come on the predictions video voicing your predictions for that following week's race. So if you win the 500 in the league today, that includes having to beat me, then you will be on the prediction video next week. And at the end of the season, if you guys are able to beat me, and one of you guys will win a chance for 2 tickets to any NASCAR race in 2022 of your choosing, and I will try to make that trip as well along the way. So that's whether you want to bring a friend or a family member. Again, KRC League on the NASCAR mobile app or website. Sign up with your email, search the KRC League, join, and you will have a shot to win those weekly prizes as well as possibly the end-of-season grand prize. Thanks for everybody watching. Make sure you do that. All those things, again, with liking and sharing and subscribing. As always, we are growing on the channel. We are almost to the 1-year anniversary, just a couple days away from the time I started this channel last year. Thanks for everybody watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. NASCAR Thunder 04 at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the next full race live stream at Atlanta with Terry Labonte as our driver, as always, for that season. So thanks, everybody, and I'll see you later. Enjoy the 500, and happy Daytona Day.